All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about chord changes. Specifically in this lesson, we're going to be talking about the 2-5-1 chord progression. Also, we're going to be implementing some inversions of triads. So we're going to be playing the 2-5-1 progression with triads. So let's just strip it down to its original form. Let's do D minor triad, G major triad, and C major triad. So that's the first structure or positioning that I would like you guys to learn this progression in. D minor triad, G major triad, C major triad. All right, let's just strip it down to its triad, 1, 3, 5. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. We have step-by-step tutorials in the chords course available right now. Strongly suggest that you go take a look at that. So let me play that one more time for you guys in root position. D minor, G major, C major, just a triad. The next way, we're going to be playing this same progression in the first inversions of these chords. But now we got to figure it out. But keep in mind, guys, I'm going to go through this pretty quick just for the sake of time. And also, if you're not familiar with the inversions, please go take a look at that first, then come back so we can flow together. D minor, root position, first position. All right, your F is on the bottom, okay? So now next chord of the progression, we have the 2. Now we got to do the 5, which is the G major triad. So G major triad, there's several ways to play this as well. The first position, we can do the B as our root note now. So that's first position for G major, or that's root position, first inversion. So now we have D minor, first inversion, G major, first inversion, C major, first inversion. Okay, so you can play that. You can play that another way too. You can play that with the E on the bottom down there as well. But I'm just inverting it. My E is still on the bottom. It's still the same chord, but I'm just opening it up a little bit more, putting that third on the top. Well, technically, it's the 5th on the top, right? But you get what I mean. So first inversion chords of the 2-5-1 progression: D minor, G major, C major, first inversion, all first inversion. Okay, so that's the second way that I want you guys to practice this chord progression. All right, the next way we're going to do second inversion. Okay, so we have to find the second inversion of each of these triads, or each of these chords. So D minor triad, which is D, F, A, right? So now the A is going to be at the bottom. Okay, A is going to be our root note. So let's figure this out. So I could play it down here, but it won't sound as pretty, so I'm going to move it up an octave. All right, so I'm going to play my D minor in second inversion up here. So my A is on the bottom, my F is next here, and then my D is the last note. Okay, so I got A, F, D. I'm just spreading it out. Remember that in the second inversion that we went over before. All right, so that's the D minor. That's the 2 chord. Okay, just in second inversion. Now the next one, we got to play the G in second inversion. And guys, with these inversions, I try to find the nearest chord or nearest inversion for the next chord progression, so I'm not jumping all over the place, so it can be seamless. It can just flow real nice. Okay, so I have, that's my first chord. I can use that for my second inversion for the G, right? My D is my root note now. And then for the last chord, we have second inversion of the 1 chord, or second inversion of the C major triad. So we can play it, we can stick right around in that realm. We can do, all right, so that sounds really, really nice. Let's do it again. 2, 5, 1. Okay, so far we have root position, first inversion, and second inversion. So we have root position, that's all root position. Now first inversion. And you should hear that chord progression, or at least the root notes, in your head. Right? So even with the second inversion, let's do the second inversion. So we're doing 2 chord, 5 chord, 1 chord. Same thing. Very pretty progressions. I mean, it's the same exact thing. You're playing the 2-5-1 progression, just the inversions of the triad. So you're really stripping it down, but it sounds a little bit complex because you're changing the root note of the chord. All right, and as bass players, we should be able to get used to hearing that root note or that alternate root note when you're doing an inversion of a chord, to be able to hear different melodies, different parts of the song, because the keyboard player or a piano player or a guitar player may not play the root note. They may play an inversion of the chord, and it's your job to hit that root note. So it's actually good practice to be able to play these chords or play these progressions in different inversions and also hear that bass note or that root note in your head at the same time. So in the next lesson, we're going to be talking about the different ways you can switch this up. You can play root position, second inversion, first inversion for one chord progression for the 2-5-1. You can do all sorts of things or all sorts of combinations, and there's other chords that are actually outside, not really diatonic, outside of that scale or the major scale that you would use to play that chord progression that you can use to make it sound a little bit more interesting. And I love those type of chord progressions and cadences and things like that. But we'll talk more about that. Get used to playing the root position, first inversion, second inversion, all in that 2-5-1 progression. Change the key as well. Or, so switch it up and do it in different keys. But anyway, make sure your notes are coming out clean, clear, and precise, and I'll see you in the next one.